You know what I've been obsessed with lately, besides hot water with lemon and honey? By the way, this is what you should sip first thing in the morning, not a cup of black tar coffee, which I've been doing for 30 years. And it's very strange, but at 49, I'm kind of sick of coffee. I don't know who I am anymore. I do enjoy like really nice, expensive pour over coffee at the coffee shop once in a while, but I used to drink it every day, and I think my taste buds are changing. I still do have it every day. I used to drink 4 cups a day and cappuccinos, and it's always been kind of my pacifier. I think just because I'm a writer and I have lived most of my life in coffee shops, but I just I don't like it anymore. I don't like the way it makes me feel. It makes me jittery. It's kind of bitter. Anyway, you know what I've been obsessed with? It's not hot water. It's and this is going to sound a little abstract. It's how do you reach for something and keep both feet on the ground? And so let me explain. Uh, Most of my life, I've lived with an extended arm, meaning reaching for something. The deal, the girl, chasing after something, wanting something, reaching for it. And what happens is um, one, if not both, of my feet leave the ground, meaning there's a and I think reaching for things is great. I mean, that's what life is about, right? Going after what you want, experimenting, giving yourself new experiences, all that. But I think when you reach for something and you get unbalanced, I think if you reach for something and both of your feet come off the ground, um, you become wobbly. And here's my other um, finding in this life is that that's a helicopter, by the way, if you could hear that going above my garage here in Altadena. I live right by the rescue center, and so there's helicopters constantly going. Every time I hear a helicopter, I know someone has either fallen off a hill or maybe attacked by a mountain lion. I don't know. Anyway, sorry for the bird walking. I find myself, or I have found myself, and the pattern has been me reaching for something that I become obsessed with. It's usually career oriented, and then losing my grounding, losing my sense of self. And what happens is when you reach, um, you start creating this kind of expectation cliff, you know, and it doesn't have to be career related. I mean, think about what you've been reaching for lately or what you have reached for in the past. What have you wanted? It may be a ring, it may be, finding love, it may be the corner office. I don't know, but um, I've always reached so far and put all the chips on that where I would lose sense of self. I would lose being present. uh, it would be impossible to be grateful for anything I have now because it wasn't about now. It was about when I was going to get whatever I was reaching for, you know? And so here's my other revelation about life. I really believe it. I think when you reach and you lose your footing, you lose sense of self, you're aligned with desperation. I feel like what happens is the magnet flips. So whatever you're reaching for, whether it's a person or a job, a deal, whatever it is, uh, it goes further away when your feet come off the ground. And one thing that I've noticed, and it's very subtle, I still have yet to prove this, but in the last, I don't know, I would say, I mean, it hasn't been that long. In the last 3 to 4 years, I've definitely um, stop reaching when my feet come off the ground. When I become unbalanced, I kind of check myself. I pull back. I'm not desperate for answers. I'm okay with no's. I already like start the acceptance process. If things don't work out, right? If I don't get what I want, it's okay. And when I do that, then the phone call comes. It's like, um, I mean, I guess it's kind of like dating, where if you are constantly chasing after someone, calling, pursuing, the person usually is turned off and goes the other way. And when you kind of don't care, you express interest and you make effort, but you also kind of, don't push it, they usually come back, or they're more attracted to you if they don't come back. At least you have more of a chance. It's just like feeding a pigeon. Try to feed a pigeon by chasing it, see what happens, and then try to feed a pigeon just by opening your palm and letting the pigeon come to you. I love that visual because I really think it's a great metaphor for life and how a lot of things work in this world. So my obsession with this is practice, and by practice, I've had recently, and by recent I mean literally yesterday. I had a big meeting, and I noticed the excitement in my body. I noticed the reach of my arm because this meeting could potentially lead to, a big project and blah blah blah. And I noticed me starting to not be grounded, me starting to drift, and then you start fantasizing and you start living in what ifs, and if this happened, then this is going to happen, and then I'm going to get this, and I'm going to feel this, and you start to lose footing, and you start to kind of drift. And I caught myself. I noticed it in my body. I also felt anxiety. I also felt the powerlessness. I also felt desperation, and all those which I think are lower frequency feelings. And I caught myself, and I want to know how to practice letting all of that go, coming back to earth, being grounded, being grateful, living in the here and now, and still you could reach, I'm going to be reaching for the rest of my life. As long as I have ideas, I'm going to be reaching, right? But I don't want to reach so much that I lose footing. And so what does that look like? I think for me, it is first noticing it's not a logical thing. It's not like, okay, I'm only going to call this person X amount of times. It's not like that. It's not strategy. It's a feeling you have in your body when you start notice that you are maybe acting in a way that is desperate, or you find yourself exchanging um, truths about you or how you are for the potential of that thing happening, closing the deal, getting the girl, landing the office, whatever it is. And when you notice that, I think the practice is then to really take a breath, which I did today, pull back and let it go. And letting it go doesn't mean to get lazy. You can still go after it. And of course, building things require tons of work. I'm not saying to like let it go. I'm not saying to just cross your fingers and hope, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying let it go as in know what is in your control, know what is not. Practice patience. Don't lose your life or hit pause on your life because you're waiting for the thing, right? That's how I lived most of my life. And so come back down. Find life in your life. Enjoy your daily routines and the people around you. Like, go back to the basics, right? Go have a great meal. Read a book. I haven't read a book in a long time because I listen to audio. That's all I do. And with this last book, I decided, you know what? I'm going to commit to actually reading this book. And it's like a 200 something page book. And I'm reading like 2 pages a day, but I'm reading it. And I'm actually enjoying flipping the pages. And because I have ADD, and it's really hard for me to read and absorb information, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it as like it's a new experience. And um, and I'm using this as an example because as silly as it is, things like that ground you. It brings you back to earth, right? So whether we're talking about reading a book or meditation or movement, sometimes I'll just get on my motorcycle and just kind of ride up in the canyons for 20, 30 minutes and come back, and that resets me. So whatever you do to kind of ground you, to come back down, to note that yes, you want that thing and it's there and you're willing to work your ass off for it, but you're not willing to lose yourself for it. There are consequences to that, especially if that thing is a person, right? Especially if that thing is love. There has to be a dance, I think, in this world. There has to be, and I think it's, um, I think it has to do with universal laws of energy. There's an ebb and flow. Some people say there's a meant to be, whether you're supposed to meet someone or cross an opportunity. Uh, I believe in some of that, but I do believe that depending on the state that we're in, that we tend to either push things away or attract. And in my life, I have pushed a lot of things away because of my desperation and my reaching so far that I lose my sense of self. And also, you kind of feel gross. You don't like yourself. You're reactive. You're impatient. Um, so the unwillingness to lose you for whatever it is that you want, maybe that's a new non-negotiable. It's becoming one for me, and I'm practicing it, and I'm playing around with how I feel when I stop the reach, and then what happens. Because I believe that if you're patient, shit comes back around like a boomerang. And I don't know. I think it's one of the lessons of life, um, laws of life. I'm still struggling with it, playing with it myself. But I wanted to remind you that whatever you are going after, just wanted to remind you to don't lose your sense of self, because it's not worth losing your relationship with self. It's not worth the drift that inside you. It's not worth that disconnection. Thank you for listening, and I hope you practice this as well. And ask yourself what it's like, and learn about yourself, and learn about the power of your state and how that ripples. Be well.